got to be very, very careful. Last race out, of course, it was Heinemann from Keithley from Akos Kameni. As the cars now take to the grid, we'll just run through quickly those qualifying results. That is Kameni from Keithley, from Heinemann, from Schultz, Tuckelli, and from Santos in P6. Giuliano, Werner, and Schoenfeld in 9th. And the green light's going on top of the stand, and away we go. Round 7 is green here at the Red Bull Ring. Great start from Kameni. He's not quite had a good start there as Heinemann, who's challenging Keithley for that second position. Very busy up at the front as we have a car off the track, but at the rear, I believe that could well be a car there of Toccacelli. Toccacelli pushed off the track. He has run wide, and that will cost him a huge amount of time. As things stand, though, it's still Kameni from Keithley. From Santos, he's managed to get past Heinemann, as has Eric Werner, so great starts from those two. This first lap critical to gain positions where you can, but you've got to keep that car in one piece. You don't want to damage the machine. It will cost you dearly. Keithley up into P2 still. He's closing slightly on Kameni. Only car moving forward really. Santos is pretty static. Werner and Heinemann bearing down behind him. See if we can hold them off the mark. Coming down now through Rinton, the final corner here of the lap. This will be your leader at the line for the first lap. Will be Akos Kameni. He will take this first lap. Behind him, almost on the bumper of that car, will be Jack Keithley. Will he pull out and try and make a pass into turn 1? He won't. He'll stay in line for now. Jack Keithley choosing to draft with that leader. They're not going to fight too early on. They want to make a break from the other cars in this field. Thought the fight out later. First lap's incredibly good by those drivers. And well, Werner, Heinemann, and Santos bearing down on them. 2 seconds slower though for Andre Santos, so big gap forming. Eric Werner, Tim Heinemann trapped behind that car. Bad start costing them dearly. Cars being pushed wide there in the outside of turn 1 as we get through this very densely packed midfield of the race. Still Kameni leading out front. Keithley not giving up. Heading now down turn 3, heading towards turn 4. Got Keithley on board right now, keeping his eyes on the back of that leader. So close here as we head down towards turn number 5. Big braking zone. Can he get anything? Gain anything? No, he will not. Jack Keithley not really pulling in that gap at all. Relatively static between himself and the leader at this time. Up front though, Kameni doing a masterful job of maintaining the pace in this field. Santos has already fallen off 2 seconds from your leader. It's now 2.8. Behind them, Heinemann. He's 6 seconds back already. Werner also 6 seconds, and another further second back to Schultz behind them. But this field's spreading out rapidly. Only really Keithley able to hold on to Kameni, your leader. And with Heinemann this far down the points, this could be a big payday for Jack Keithley in his championship run. So Kameni is going to have to defend, I suspect, from Keithley, who wants a win. He's deployed that DRS system on his car this lap. He wants to try and gain up towards the back of Kameni. Won't have anything to do in the braking zone now for turn 2, so possibly wasted that DRS this time round. But he will go closing that gap towards the leader. See what he can do. 6 tenths per second now back from Kameni. Currently riding on board, looking at the car there of Davide Toccacelli. He fell all the way back, let's not forget at the start. He got knocked wide in turn 1. That cost him a huge amount of positions for the driver that qualified in the top 10. Slowly clawing his way back, of course. Lost the speed from him, but track position lost. That has cost him greatly for the Italian driver. Up towards the front, Kameni still leading from Keithley. Santos behind them. And Heinemann is in P4 now. He's got past Eric Werner. So that's a position gain for the championship leader. But he has a lot of time to make up. Currently sitting a huge amount of time behind your race leader and the second place championship contender of Keithley. Heinemann 4.8 seconds back on the racetrack. Bell machine there of Johan Jocelyn riding in behind car there of that's Toccacelli. Oh, that's sorry, I've been corrected. We're on board with Jocelyn looking at Banky. So that's the car behind him, is that one. Heading up towards the front of the field once again, that is Kameni. Still leading now. Keithley down to 0.3 of a second. Big closure for the front of this field. As we have a big pass there, 3 wide in the back of the pack. That is for 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and it'll cost him a lot of places. The Red Bull machine there of Schultz forcing his way through the middle of that one. That was a huge 3 wide fight we had on the racetrack. Big contact amongst those drivers. Quite interesting way to try and force your way through, because we have Justin going wide on the outside there of turn 3. Keeping that car on the racetrack, though, he'll go around the outside of, I believe that is Bayanki. So great move there from him. But possibly risky. Not a move I'd like to take this early on in a 20-30 minute race. So he's possibly used up some of his friendship points with the other drivers in the field. He'll have to be careful later on. And towards the field, though, now towards the rest of your field. That driver has made up a lot of time so far. Dropped back, though, making that pass on Santos. He's now 5.4 seconds, just nearing 5 seconds away from Keithley. But that is a huge amount of time. He has a clean track now towards his championship rival. So we'll see if now, free from any other contenders, he can make up that gap in the remaining time of our race. Of course, 23 minutes and 54 seconds remaining on the play clock. A lot of time left to go for Keithley. 3.9 seconds now, although he's got DRS on Kameni. Keithley now having to play a strategic game to keep himself away from that car of Heinemann. As Heinemann is on a charge. Of course, he qualified in P3. Great moves from him, but he just needs to build up that time he lost in the early running. Position's relatively static on the racetrack right now. Kameni from Keithley, from Heinemann, from Santos, from Werner, from Schoenfelder, from Toccacelli, from Jocelyn, from Schultz, and 10th position, that is Banky. 11th position from last in qualifying, that is Ralf Arella, the German driver. He is now ahead of his countryman Jan Strange, back in position 12. Thomas Kinzer, he's P13. Gigliano is in P14, Jonas is P15, and Camano P15 on the racetrack. 3 wide fighting up the main straight here. This is back again with the 3 we had before. Toccacelli, Schultz, Banky, and Jocelyn. They are fighting tooth and nail on this very short racetrack. They do not want to pass each other. Well, they don't want to get passed by each other. And using their cars to show each other their displeasure. But there's some rather ragged looking cars here, as we have the big rear impact there from that Audi, pushing the Red Bull machine there of Schultz very wide. That was Johan Jocelyn, I believe, trying to get past the German driver of Schultz using his bumper. So aggressive move there from Jocelyn. Schultz has managed to regain that position, so he's definitely the fastest of this pack right now, but we'll have to see if that will change anytime soon. Schultz leading the train right now. He's got Banky behind him, Jocelyn, Arella, and that is the car there of Strange. Bring up the rear of this small train we have on the track. Big fight here for your bottom end of the top 10 things stand. Heading back up towards the front of the field there, we'll just have a quick look at what the gap is like between Keithley and Heinemann. Keep watching this fight because it is interesting, but that gap back up to 4.4 seconds, so remaining relatively static as we watch this bottom end of the top 10 fight. Great running here from the drivers, just wheel-to-wheel action, no quarters given, and a little bit of bumping. Not a bad race so far. We've not had any retirements. We have got a few cars quite a way back. That is the car there of Domingo Camano, having a rather bad day today. Also the cars of Adam Jonas and Gigliorio Oli. He's not having a great run. I apologise for butchering your name. Thomas Kinzer as well, not having a great run out so far. Running somewhat off the pace, running 23s and 24s. As is 9th position through 12th, but those guys running slower because they're in a heavy fight, of course. So that's slowing them down somewhat. 14th place car there of, to try and pronounce it correctly this time, and that is Giglioli. We'll call you that. It's a great name. And he's now moved up position to Johan Jocelyn, fighting once again, still in this big tight pack in the midfield. Those guys really can't get away from each other, so this race is going to be run down to the wire, I expect. Of course, we did say earlier on that tyres and fuel are disabled, so no tyre wear to really be a factor in this race tonight. The drivers will be fighting as hard as they can, and we have a slowdown penalty, I believe. Banky going backwards there, he's at P11. I believe he's had a slowdown penalty on turn 1, so that's track position lost to him, and that sort of thing will happen when you're fighting wheel to wheel. On board with Johan Jocelyn, on board with, I believe, Ariella looking back towards Johan Jocelyn on the racetrack. Those cars very close to one another. Jocelyn trying to make up more time as he can, see if he can get past Ariella up towards Schultz. Drivers unable to separate themselves from one another. A reminder that gap towards the front there, it is still Keithley from Heinemann. Gap there is 4.5 seconds, and still about half a second between Keithley and Kameni. So the second place driver in the championship able to use his DRS throughout this race just to keep himself tactically ahead of Heinemann, which has major championship implications for him. That driver wanting to gain that gap towards the championship leader of Heinemann, but he wants to do it in such a way as he is ahead rather than simply gaining a few more points each race. Heinemann very nearly out of this race early on after a very big contact at the start of this race, so very lucky one for him. He's probably biding his time for a late race charge, as we now have 18 minutes remaining on the clock. Yeah, we had Jocelyn's deployed DRS to try and get himself towards the back of Banky now. Up on the rear bumper of that car as they head into turn 2, but he just can't make it stick. Good exit for Jocelyn, but he cannot get past. I believe we're on board with actually Banky looking towards Jocelyn, so Jocelyn using DRS he got from Arella up ahead, which has actually saved him probably from Banky behind, who also deployed it, but at this time his car's still glued together. It's almost that they're attached by bungee cord. They cannot get away from one another, and there we go, Banky just tapping the back of Jocelyn. Excuse me, I'm faster and I want to come through. Wow, Jocelyn completely off the track there, running down through turn 4, and that's Banky up past him. He will make his way through there as Jocelyn makes a mistake. Now he gets to chase after the car there, or Ariella. Aurelia, sorry, I apologize, Aurelia. Well, we've had a mistake from your race leader. We haven't caught this one on camera, but major mistake from the leader. Kameni has lost position right now. He's fallen behind Jack Keithley. So Jack Keithley, your new race leader, he is 3 tenths of a second ahead of Kameni, so not a major mistake, but he has managed to get past. And a big close-up now by Heinemann, so fight for position between Keithley and Kameni. That's enabled him to get to the lead, but it's also cost him a lot of time now. That's down to 1.92 seconds between Kameni and Heinemann, so fight for top 3 definitely holding up right now. Things have closed up massively in the racetrack, and it will only be a fight for the top 3, of course. P4, 8.3 seconds back at the racetrack, with 2 seconds behind him to P5, so the 4th, 5th and down will have a fight of their own, whilst these podium sitters will have to decide this one between themselves. Only one of them will be able to win. You know, in the background, the red machine of Heinemann closing in on your 2 race leaders, the cars of Jack Keithley and Kameni. Kameni's deployed his DRS right now, so Akos Kameni deploying DRS to try and make his way back towards Jack Keithley. But he cannot get that car up the inside. He will put it up the inside in turn 2. Wheel to wheel now, coming out of 2, heading towards turn 3. Akos Kameni, he's up the inside. Will he have this corner? Jack Keithley not wanting to give him any room at all. Banging fenders there. Keithley will defend. He cannot do it now. Kameni will be through on the outside. Keithley will look back towards the inside. It's really pushes wide. He cannot hold it. He will hold it. Keithley unable to make that pass back again, so he will have to set up second place. And, well, this fight's really brought Tim Heineman into the picture right now. He has closed up massively between the two fighting leaders. So definitely Keithley under threat now from his championship rival as we head into the second half of the race. Akos Kameni, of course, leading once again. Led the majority of laps so far, but was recently passed by Jack Keithley, who has now been repassed and is under threat from behind from Tim Heineman, the points leader at the moment. So this race has just got exciting. It was a two-way battle, it's now three, and we have Santos in fourth. He's not gained up at all, so impressive drive here from Heineman. Keithley deploying DRS so towards Kameni. Can he use it the same way the race leader did to him? Can he slot the inside? He can. He will get his nose on the inside there. But it'll be 3 wide off the corner as Heineman and Keithley set through. So that's actually Heineman's managed to get past Keithley. So 3 wide did not pay off for Jack Keithley. Heineman shooting up the inside. This guy's on a different planet. Tim Heineman now, he wants to look towards the car there of Kameni, but he can't. That's Jack Keithley back again. No, I'm wrong. That is Heineman. Onboard cameras looking quite the same from both those drivers, so Heineman challenging now for the race lead. Can he get past the car there of Akos Kameni? Getting another car between himself and his rival Keithley, but will he be able to do it in time? Pretty perfect drive goes so far from Kameni. Absolutely faultless with some great lap times going in. But Heineman, we've seen him so far, he's managed to recover from a bad start, and he will be able to push his way back towards the front of this race. Of course, very short track here at the Red Bull Ring, so not many corners for drivers to take advantage of. Of course, deploying DRS up from turn 1 towards turn 2, seeming to so far be a favoured option amongst these drivers. All of them using that one as their preferred option to pass up the inside into 2, but a lot of wheel-to-wheel contact and body contact from these cars as they're trying to push up, so very saloon car racing going on. But the touring cars to shame as we have Heineman up the outside there of Kameni, but will he still secure this one around the outside? Will he push wide? He will indeed, and Kameni up his inside, he will hold station, so that will be Kameni holding the inside line. He'll have the preferred line for turn 3. This 180-degree round carousel here. Can he hold it the inside? Will he hold off Heineman? He has to do it. No, Heineman holding on the outside again. First line now for him for turn number 4. But yes, he will. He'll have that inside line. Can he force himself into the right position? Look on board of Kameni. Kameni not quite able to get there though. Kameni trapped. And a brilliant move there from Heineman, defending from the attack. Started in turn 2 and only really resolved itself by turn 6. So just half the lap side by side for these drivers, and just an amazing amount of talent. And it's his at the line this time around as we exit turn 8. It will be Tim Heineman from Akos Kameni from Jack Keithley. Looking back from 4th position towards the rest of your top 10. That's Andre Santos, Eric Warner, David Toccacelli, Marcus Schnonfelder, Kraus Schultz, Benche Banki, Johan Jocelyn, Thomas Kinzer is P11, Adam Jonas P12, Gianfranco Giuliani is P13, Jan Strange 14, Domingo Camano has actually managed to make a position, he's 15th now, and Ralph Arella is back in last position, P16. Rear view from there, Tim Heineman, your race leader, looking back towards his attackers, Akos Kameni and Jack Keithley. Kameni in prime position right now to make the attack, so he will have DRS, we expect, running up towards turn 2. Will he be able to use that one right now? We don't know. This is actually running towards turn 4, I apologise with its onboard angle. But Heineman running very well, using every inch of the racetrack there, maximising front of the corners. He will have a good run through here, heading down towards Rint corner 7. Not able to really pull a gap though from 2nd and 3rd position. Tim Heineman just unable to clear those two, so very even match pace amongst the top drivers. DRS enabled there for Akos Kameni as he heads up towards turn number 2, behind the car of Tim Heinemann. Can he put it up the inside? He won't be able to get there in time. Expecting also Jack Keithley deployed here, so we didn't see that on the screen though. But Heinemann under attack now from the two angry machines of Kameni and Keithley. Still neither driver really able to pull any time on that race leader. As he's reached the point, of course, Heinemann unable to be beaten. A few attacks by Kameni, but he just cannot manage to make it stick. That driver going to have to try and find something else he can do to make the pass secure. Jack Keithley, though, he was at one point leading. In fact, he was running in second, 4.5 seconds clear of his rival. Now sitting 2 places behind him. That gap will only grow at the front of this field. Of course, so the championship standings as they currently are, it is Heinemann from Keithley, from Toccacelli, from Kunze, from Fiducci, who's not here today. We also don't have the Belarusian driver of Denis Emelianenko. He's not here. Akos Kameni down in P7. He will gain a lot of points from this finish if he can hold it with these guys. And Willie Winchayton is in P8. He's a lot of points back. Banky, P number 9. Giuliano is in P number 10. So a lot of points for these guys to make up. We do have a lot of drivers from the lower end of the field, of course, on the field today. So big potential for them to make points in this championship fight. Back there from driver of Kameni. He just can't quite make it stick though against the car there of Heinemann. Looking towards the inside as we approach turn 3. He will try, the car squirming underneath him there. He just cannot find the advantage as he wobbles. Will this be an advantage for Keithley? Keithley unable to take advantage of that mistake, but he will look to the inside as we approach turn 3. Puts it to the inside, he is there. I've got my nose in, I like to pick a pass. Can't hold it though as we head down towards turn 5. The mistake there from Akos Kameni, nearly costing him a spot, but Keithley not quite quick enough on the button to try and take advantage. Heinemann seeing this in his rear mirror, of course, will be loving the fact that second and third are fighting, freeing him up to run away for the pole position. The two Audis and the Mercedes bringing the biggest fight of the race so far. So we're going to try and take a look back towards the drivers of Schultz and Gunfelder, Banky and Jocelyn in the P7, 8, 9 and 10 positions. Those guys fighting heavily early on. See exactly what they're up to. But now with Akos Kameni, he's riding in at P2, just cannot make the gap there to Heinemann, your leader, just unable to close in. That's dropped back to almost a second now. Behind your race leader, Keithley in P3, he's 1.5 seconds back, so half a second away from Kameni, who is 1.1 seconds behind your leader. So this could be Heinemann finally making the break he needs. If he can hold this gap at just over 1 second, he can stop them using DRS to gain on him, so he might just have broken that DRS activation window, which is vital for him on this racetrack. I mean, it's a great turn 8 and a great turn 1 now if he wants to just break this gap permanently. If he can hold this beyond 1 second through the next 2 potential deployment zones, as Keithley will use his DRS there on Kameni up the inside of turn 1. Alongside as we enter the corner. Big contact between those two and big wobble for Keithley. Huge wobble. That car hit heavily by the car of Akos Kameni, so that really, really hurt the Englishman. Heinemann at the front loving this. That gap's now 2 seconds, so he's finally broken the zone and he's making that getaway from these two who are determined to fight one another. But this does mean though that Kameni will not have the DRS advantage from sitting behind Heinemann, so this could be an advantageous time for Keithley to make a move for P2. This will open a gap in the championship standings, but it will further segregate the drivers of Jack Keithley and Tim Heinemann from the rest of this field. Those two have been a class of their own, although today we do have to include that driver of Akos Kameni. He's P7 in the points, but a championship-worthy drive from him so far today. Heinemann continues to increase his gap at the front of this one. That now up to 2.7 seconds. Keithley has fallen away from the back of Kameni, so goes potentially hitting traffic as things stand. Riding on board, well, looking at Tocacelli right now, he's hitting P5, so good recovery from him. He was knocked off the track early on in the first lap fracas that we saw in the rush through turns 1 and 2. So good recovery back up through the field. He's looking towards car there of Santos. That is Andre Santos, the Portuguese driver in P4. He wants to do everything he can to try and make his way past Santos, but he's not quite there now. He will be in the DRS window though, so expect that DRS light to light up. He will deploy that drag reduction device to make his way past. Not used here, so he might be saving this one for later in the lap. There'll be a final run of turn 8 and along the start finish line, so we expect to see that one used there, as this middle sector is not really a DRS zone as such. Heading up now towards turn 3. Santos behind, Tocacelli behind Santos. Can he actually get him in this twisty sector in the middle of the track? We'll find out. Not looking likely though from Tocacelli. Just cannot quite make the gap any smaller. May have to wait for the run off turn 8. Deploy that DRS. Making sure he keeps that within 1 second, of course, until he can deploy that. Now towards Rint, turn 7. Gap pretty stable now at about 3/4 tenths of a second. We'll see coming out turn 8 in a moment. If he does deploy that DRS, expect to sit at the exit of the corner. That DRS button to light up green on your overlay. Brayton on the power. Will he use that now? He's not actually deployed it yet. That's surprising. Tocacelli not deploying his DRS at this moment, so unusual there from a driver not to take that advantage. Up now towards turn 2, still no DRS light from David Tocacelli. Why is he not using this? Clear tool he has and a clear advantage over the driver ahead, but not using that driver aid to make the pass. Well, he is at the outside there of Santos. Will he hold this one on the outside? He can't, but he is still alongside, so ooh, contact from those two drivers. Surprisingly, not using his DRS is David Tocacelli. Not really sure why there, but he will be up the inside now of Santos. Andre Santos gives him the corner as we head through turn number 3. Goes for the cutback, but will he make it stick? On the outside now for Santos, which is definitely a disadvantage for turn 5 up ahead. And through without an issue goes David Tocacelli. So great move there from him. Took a couple of corners to set up, and without DRS that was possibly harder than he needed it to be. Up front, major separation in your field as Heinemann runs away now. 2.7 seconds from Akos Kameni in P2 and 4.2 seconds ahead of Jack Keithley. However, that had been ahead of him so long in this race, now falling away like a stone. Tocacelli in P4, we just saw him pass Andre Santos, but he is 14 seconds back from your leader, so really no potential gain up now towards the other drivers on the track as we head into the final couple of laps here around the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. Of course, this is a 1 minute 20 or so lap, so expecting this to be the white flag shown to the drivers, this time by the line. Or not, we may actually get 2 more laps into this race. 1 minute 30 on the play clock, now counting down through 25, so we should actually still have time on the clock as we pass the line this time round. Will be 1 to go this time past the line. Heinemann with a clear advantage, 2.3 seconds from Akos Kameni. Jack Keithley, P3's fallen away now, maybe settling for a podium position. No mistakes needed now, and he'll bring this one home on the hallowed steps. Tocacelli fighting back now, he's gaining, but it's too little, too late for the Italian. He cleared the Portuguese of Andre Santos. Behind him, driver there of Eric Werner. He was good at the start, but he fell away. Marco Schnonfelder, number 7. Klaus Schultz, P8. Ben Scherbanki, number 9. Thomas Kinzer, P10. So this field vastly spread out across the length of this race circuit. Amounts of separation in speed and difference in time. But one driver's really proved the class of the field as we now head up through start finish line for the mid-pack drivers there. Let's see if we can get a camera on board with Heinemann, see if he will be shown the white flag or the checkered flag this time by the line as we come to 15 to go. Hopefully get a camera angle on Heinemann. Tim Heinemann now through turn 4. This will be time at the line. So Tim Heinemann, your race leader, an impressive drive from him. He has just been flawless. Early mistake pushed him wide on turn 1, and he's fought back now from P5 all the way to the pole, and he will be 2.2 seconds clear of Akos Kameni, the man who led most of the first half of this race. As we come now through the final parts of this lap, Tim Heinemann now. This will be the run to corner number 7. I believe it could be 8. It is 7 actually. I'm not familiar with this track. Out he comes, Tim Heinemann out to turn number 8. He will get the checkered flag. Tim Heinemann, your winner at Spielberg, Austria. Behind him, a close second as he spins it across the line, Akos Kameni. And Jack Keithley brings it home in P number 3 in the Mercedes, the highest finishing of the Mercedes cars in this field, of course. Leading 2 cars being Audis. Rest of the field still coming through now. We'll get those points up on the screen as they finish. Still expecting a couple of cars to come through on board with Jonas right now. So that's Adam Jonas in P number 11. Waiting for him to come out of this field, and that is it from Spielberg, Austria, running through his final finishing positions, of course. Finishing in P number 1, that will be Tim Heinemann. P number 2, Akos Kameni. P3, Jack Keithley, final step on the podium. David Toccacelli, P number 4. Andre Santos, P5. Eric Werner, P number 6. Markus Schnanfelder, P7. Klaus Schutz, P8. Ben Banki, P number 9. Tamas Kinzer, P10. Adam Jonas, P11. Johan Jocelyn, 12. Domingo Camano, P13. Gianfranco Gigliano, that man's always confused me with his name all race long, P14. Ralph Arella, P15, and Jan Strange with a late race mistake which has landed him in final position, P16. Well, the championship gap at the front will grow for Tim Heinemann, of course, from Jack Keithley. Those 2 drivers coming in 11 points separated on the field, of course. This will be only slightly bigger, but it does separate their own gap from the rest of the pack by a huge margin. So great race there from everybody in this DTM field, from RaceRoom Race Experience, from LSR TV, and from myself, Rachel Whiteford. Good night.